Hello all, hope you all are doing well. So today we will discuss the countries which are following the mistake of Sri Lanka and near to become default. We will start from 1980s that if you remember there was a time of a great fashion but in Latin America which considers 80s as the lost of decade. They faced financial turmoil in 80s and that typhoon eroded their economies. The reasons are two large oil shocks. Skyrocketing oil prices creates big deficit. Their foreign debt reaches at the time of collapse. Mexico was the first country to fall. In 1982, declared default as they are not able to pay debt. In Latin America, one country after another is stuck in debt trap. Brazil, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Ecuador all feel deep recession, high inflation, mounting debt, unemployment, and slow economic growth. Now, after 3 decades, history is about to repeat itself. Developing countries around the world are struggling with a sovereign debt crisis. One is already scumped, that is Sri Lanka. Its economy collapsed, ballooning debt and shrinking foreign reserves. There isn't enough money to pay for basic necessities. Their governments mismanaged the finances by spending more than their national income. They allowed the deep tax cuts and destroy the economy. Furthermore, COVID pandemic and Ukraine-Russia war increased the food and fuel prices, compounded the Lankan crisis. It is a fear that Lankan crisis could mutate. The entire developed world is at risk. On 15th February, just 9 days before the Russia invade Ukraine, World Bank issued a warning that developing nations are facing a looming debt crisis. World Bank listed 70 countries facing debt repayments of worth $11 billion. Reports said that burden could crush their economies in 2022. After 9 days, Russia invaded Ukraine and invasion disrupted the supply chain, triggered global oil crisis. United Nations reports 107 countries facing one of three risks, which is rising food prices, rising energy prices, and tougher financial conditions. 107 countries represent 1.7 billion of people, means one-fifth of humanity. 69 countries are facing all three risks and going the Sri Lanka's way. 25 countries among them are in Africa, 25 belongs to Asia Pacific, and 19 belongs to Latin America. Now, turn by turn, we will check each country's condition. First, we will go through Egypt, the world's largest importer of wheat. Russia and Ukraine were its top suppliers. Due to war, supplies are running out. Tunisia, economy is overheating. Foreign debt accounts are 100% of the GDP. Trade deficit is $800 billion. Inflation 7%. Fuel prices are becoming higher day by day. Experts say that Tunisia will soon face civil unrest. Same is the case with Lebanon. Now we will talk about Argentina. Inflation is paralyzing its economy. External debt mounting. There is civil unrest. Extreme cold weather is worsening the situation. Some other Latin American countries are also at risk, like Peru, facing hyperinflation and food shortages and mass unemployment. In sub-Saharan Africa, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, Ethiopia are at their worst. In Turkey, the currency is sliding, debt is soaring, 54% of the GDP. 70% inflation. GDP forecast cuts 3.3% per annum. Food shortage. Turkey is getting 50,000 tons of wheat from India. World Bank says dozens of the developing countries are not being able to pay their debt in coming years. What are the remedies to get over this debt typhoon? Manage borrowing and lending. Creditors should offer contingency plans to the borrowers. Contingency plans include planning ahead to manage the risk arising from events like natural disaster and pandemics. Introduce better ways to manage shocks and crises. Low-income countries are highly vulnerable to the external crisis. Expands the common framework eligibility criteria. That criteria is made by G20 and that provides a framework to restructure their debt. 73 poorest countries are included in this criteria. Improve tax collection system and increase accountability and transparency. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.